Here we go. Hi everyone, my name is Tove and welcome to my first episode of a podcast about knitting, crocheting and crafting in general. I am 35 years old. I am from Finland originally, but I live now in the Netherlands with my husband and with my 2 young children. And I am a knitter, and a passionate knitter as one. This is my first episode. I have no clue what I'm doing, and I don't even know how to edit this thing, but here we go. I've procrastinated long enough and I tried to film this in daylight, but as you can see, that didn't work out so well. So here we are in the dark, the kids are asleep, and let's do this. You might ask yourself, do we need another podcast about knitting? And who doesn't love more podcasts about our favorite subject? I guess that's up to you guys. If you want to hang out with me for a little bit every month or week or so. I was thinking of giving a Nordic perspective and a European expat perspective on my life and my knitting. And yeah, maybe that's something that you guys enjoy to watch. I won't reinvent the wheel here. I will keep it quite traditional when it comes to podcasting schedules. And I will start, of course, as you always do, with what I'm wearing. Being from Finland, I thought, at least in the first podcast, I would represent a Finnish designer. And this is the Salty Day sweater, my lovely, beloved Salty Day sweater from Kutova Veronica Lindberg. I've been following Veronica for quite a while. Well, basically like everyone else maybe, since she made her wedding dress herself in knitted, her own wedding dress. And I really enjoy her content, and I really enjoy her design. I have another design I also am gonna talk to you about today as well, but this is a Salty Day sweater. This was a really fast knit for me. I think actually it took only 8 days, which is just insane, but then I basically did nothing else. It's knit up in Joy and Colors yarn, which is a completely new brand for me, and it's a wool polyamide acryl nylon mix. It's really squishy. I usually go for 100% wool, but yeah, I really like this one, and really, of course, really popular online as well, so I understand the hype for sure. Yeah, this first podcast is a little bit, I mean, you've seen nothing about me or what I knit, so I wanted to show some finished objects from basically from January and February. Well, not so much from February actually, everything is from January, just to also show sort of what I knit and what I enjoy knitting, so you get a taste of maybe what you can see here going forward. So I'm gonna start with a finished object that I finished in January. I've started to become better at writing when I started projects and when I finished projects, so that'll be helpful for you guys to move forward to. But I think I cast this on in December or November even, maybe on November actually, and I finished it in January. It's the Traveler's Hoodie by Angela Mauri. I chose a color very similar to her profile picture actually on this pattern, and this really lovely like pinkish burgundy. I'm not really sure what this color is. It's very pink, and I chose to knit it in Drops Tweed. Drops Tweed was really soft on the ball, but maybe not so soft when you actually knit it up, which I actually enjoy. Because this is a hoodie, a real like sweatshirt, so you need a little bit of grit. I think it was my first hoodie that I knitted, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really fun, and it's just this potato chip knit, as everyone talks about. You just have to do one more row, one more turn, and it's all in short rows, which makes it very interesting. It's this ribbed pattern as well, and I completely hacked this pattern. You're supposed to be knitting it bottom up, and I can't do that. It's not working for me. I think it was, I started with the rib, Italian cast on or whatever it's called. It was horrible, boy. And I knitted the rib, 2x2 rib, and a couple of rows, and I gave up. First of all, I think I knitted it a completely wrong size, or I like to have some my knits decrease quite a lot in my knits in my waist, and this was really supposed to be very boxy and very cropped, and I knew I wanted to have a little bit longer. So I restarted everything and I basically cast on, I think you can read a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, yeah, here, just underneath when you split for sleeves, that's where I cast on. And then I knit up to shoulders, I knit the hood completely, and I knit the arms completely. And then basically what I did was I picked up all the stitches from my cast on edge. I made sure that I cast on quite loose, and I just picked up all the knits. And because I picked up just where a purl row was gonna start, it sort of blended in very nicely. I don't think it would have worked if it would just basically stockinette, but because it was this rib stitch, I picked it up and then I knit down. And I basically just kept on knitting until my yarn ended, when I ran out of yarn. And that was quite perfect length. I'll wear it one episode moving forward so you can see it, but I absolutely love it. It's the perfect thing to throw on at home, throw on underneath the winter jackets for sure now, but I think also in the springtime, just throw on and go out in the garden with the kids. And it's a bit cozy. I didn't do the I-cord. It was supposed to be like an I-cord, I-cord. I didn't have the patience or the will to live for that, so I just took a macrame cord that I had, macrame, whatever this is called, and that works perfectly fine for me. It was white, so it stood out a little bit. 10 out of 10, really happy with it, and it was, yeah, it was quite interesting. I might talk a little bit more about the construction if I wear it one day, but I also basically did in purl. I did twist and turn short rows, and I always just knitted, and that worked out quite well for me, because I don't like to purl. Who loves to purl? I don't think anyone likes to purl, boy. So that's, yeah, that's a very nice cast off from January. Let me actually just check that. Is it actually January or is it March? Whoa. No, yeah, January. Cool. So that's that one. Then I was gonna show two things I made for the kids actually. So it doesn't get that cold in the Netherlands. From a Finnish perspective, it's, I mean, a little bit sad, but it gets quite chilly in the winds, and it's like a different kind of cold. I don't know, it's very wet cold here. So I thought, well, my son definitely needs something to, yeah, to put him around his neck. So I knitted this 3 drops neck warmer from some stash yarn I had. It knitted up in, I think I did the neck in one night and the rest the next day. Really nice, really basic, but I was very proud of it. And as I said, some stash yarn, and boy do I have stash yarn. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, but then, you know, I was very happy, and I gave it to him, and I was like, here, look, that's nice. And he goes, cool, great. And then he never wore it, ever. So maybe next year. He's very interested in all what I do in knitting, but yeah, wearing it basically is not his thing, apparently. Not yet, at least. He's about to turn 3, so I have hopes for the future for the next winter. And then I was gonna show something I made for my daughter. I call it a finished object, but I still need to put elastics in it. I made her a legging, and it's from this crazy sock yarn from Hobby. And it's also a free pattern from Järbo, I think it was called. Some Swedish designer, a newspaper or something like that. And I also hacked this pattern, to be fair. You're supposed to knit it from the top and go down, but I didn't know how much yarn I actually had. So what I did is that I realized that the pattern repeats quite good, as you can see here. The blue and the blue here repeats. So what I did, I took and split it, the 100-gram ball into 2 50 grams, and I just made sure that it sort of lined up with the new repeat. And then I cast on from the toe on both. So I did parallel knitting on the toes, or the full legs. I did parallel knitting. And I basically sort of like reversed the pattern. So whenever I had to decrease, I increased, and whenever I had, yeah, well, that's basically how you reverse it, right? Otherwise it's just normal knitting. But I'm very happy about this. I managed to really do quite the similar pattern in it. What you can see here, that it's a little bit of a factory mistake, I think. This is really nicely orange, and this is really like the color didn't take, so that's a little bit a bummer, but the rest really lines up well. And then I was thinking, should I helical knit when I then join into the gusset and the like the bum area and the body area, but I think I ended up with just doing one ball and then doing the second ball. And I'm very happy that I started from the toe, because it was a little bit more exciting to start from the toe. I also did the toe and the heel in just like a white, normal white yarn, because I then ran out of yarn just the moment where I was supposed to turn. So the inside, as you can see, is the white yarn again, which brilliant, great. No one's gonna see the inside. I do need to put elastics on, but again, these are way too big on her. I think I did the second to the smallest size, but yeah, for next year or the year after even, these are perfect and very fun. Now I'm looking at them, they're very big. Wow, they're way too big, but okay. Fun way of using up 100 grams of yarn, actually. So yeah, that I'm very happy about. That was just 3 finished objects. 4 if you of course count this one. To show, I tend to knit for myself mostly, and I tend to knit garments garments almost exclusively. But since the kids are now in a phase where they don't grow a size a week, which feels like what they've done so far, they stay the same size a little bit longer, and having oversized shirts is just nice for them. I think I'm gonna knit more things for them, and that's definitely something that's coming up already, I think in March, but that's fun. Knitting for kids also takes like no time at all, so it's quite a endorphin knit. All right, so what am I knitting on? So I am definitely not a monogamous knitter. I love to have I need to have multiple things on my needle at all times. That's just to keep the interest. You know that you have days where you can't do anything else than stockinette knitting, and just basically that's the brain space you have. And you have days where you wanna be more active and think more and do a little bit more difficult knits. So I definitely want to have a balance of all of those. And I like to organize my knits. I like to do to-do lists. I like to feel like I have control over something, at least in my life. Having 2 children is quite difficult for that. But yeah, I'll start with the one that I have had the longest on my needle. It's not a needle, it's a crochet project. I think there was someone saying, I think it was Claude, that said, blankets and socks doesn't count. So I guess I'm gonna have to take that as a truth. Anyway, it's a blanket. It's a blanket that I started in 2023. I think December or November 2023, so more than 1 year. And I decided that now we are in the end of February 2025, and 2025 is the year I'm gonna finish this blanket. I don't want to keep it any longer. I want to have it on either my bed or the kids' bed. Let's see what it is. But I'll show you. It's the Battenberg blanket, and it's a full inspiration from Nitty Natty when she started her, when she started her Battenberg blanket. I think I was up to date at that point. I just wanted to do the same because it looked so much fun. So this is my Battenberg blanket. As you can see, it's quite wide. I don't know why I made it maybe so wide to begin with. You can't see me anymore, but that's how it looks like. And then basically what I'm doing is I'm building on the width, like on the length, and that's a little bit weird, but no. I am crocheting it in Drops Baby Merino, I think it is. Yeah. And basically it's a granny square with 3 rows, and then you join as you go, or join as you go, which is joining technique that the pattern tells you about. It's a free pattern, which is crazy. She should definitely take money on this, because yes, okay, it's a granny square, but I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work to write that kind of a pattern. And it's a nice pattern. It gives good instructions, and basically when you have done 1 or 2 and you remember the pattern, it's just go. I have I'm doing mine with a pure white in between all different colors. I'm trying to be as varied as possible in my colors. So I actually had my husband do a AI simulator random organizer for colors. So that's why I'm following. And basically I'm just gonna go until I'm out of colors. I crocheted all the colored squares, and now I'm just crocheting all the white ones. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna actually finish it this year. So let's see how that goes. now it's a little bit boring to do this, to be fair, but I just want to get it finished. So I'm going to try to work on this quite a lot going forward, and I'm going to have it in my lap because it's quite nice and warm. Okay, that's definitely my longest whip, work in progress for those who didn't know that. Let's see. The one whip that I am almost finished with, and to be fair, I would have finished it a long time ago, but I ran out of yarn, which is very annoying, is my Midland cardigan. It's a very new pattern from Laura Penrose from Penrose Knits, another one, designer I'm following as well. She's also really lovely. And when she was starting to talk about this design, I was really intrigued from straight away. Cardigans is a bit difficult for me, again, because of the purling. It's not that well, it's boring to purl, let's put it like that. If I have to purl, I actually enjoy mirror knitting more than purling. And I also feel like when I do mirror knitting, my tension is really a lot better. I tend to purl very loosely, so you have these, like every other row is going to be a loose row. But with the Midland cardigan, you knit exclusively almost, and you knit from not top to bottom or bottom to top, you knit from one side to the other, and that intrigued me. So the day of her launch, I was actually at a yarn store, and I decided to just go for it. And I picked up the yarn and I went home and I cast on the same day. And here it is. So you start from, let me see, one side, and I'm not, yeah, this side. And you cast on the side like that. And then you knit the shoulder. How do I do this? The shoulder, and then you knit the front, and then you cast that off and you knit the back all the way around, and then you knit the front again, and then the sleeves, and then a double knit neckband. What I did, when I was finished with the body, yeah, and then you do the rib in the end. I did the double knit rib, the rib and the double knit neckline first, and then I did the sleeves because I was afraid of running out of yarn, losing the yarn chicken game, and I finished one of the sleeves, and then I got like what, 15-16 rows on the other sleeve, and I ran out of yarn. This yarn store, I have to actually drive like 30 minutes to this yarn store, so I haven't really gotten to it yet to go get more yarn. I could buy online, but I would like to have the same dye lot, and I think I could still get the same dye lot from this lovely lady in Breda. So I'm gonna have to find some time to go and get that, and until then it's just sitting, and that's a shame because it's really nice. I really enjoy it. It's a little bit oversized. I think my gauge wasn't really correct. I know you should gauge swatch, and I know you should block your gauge swatch, but I mean, who has time for that? I definitely don't have time to do that. So I did a quick and dirty gauge swatch, and unfortunately that was incorrect. I think it's also difficult to do gauge swatch on this one because it's the row count that matters, not the stitch count, the row count, yeah, and that was a little bit off. So it's a little bit big on me, but okay, let's see how it goes. And I'm gonna have to find some buttons and also do that, but then after that I'm done. So I'm hoping I can still have somewhere out of it this spring. Or maybe as a jacket, that would be nice. Yeah. So I just need to get going with this yarn buying of mine and get it done. And I feel like it's been laying in my yarn chest, my covered for a while now. Well, since January. Keep me accountable. I'll do it. I'll make it done. So that's one whip. Another whip, another long-term whip. Wow, 2 cardigans. That's really not me. That's really not me. Another long-term knit, which I'm gonna have on quite a while, I think, is the Cocoon cardigan by, let me see my notes, Wentzel. I've never heard of Wentzel before, but I saw this pattern in another podcast and I really enjoyed the structure of it. It's this honeycomb structure that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm knitting it with Drops Flora and Drops Mohair. So it's quite fluffy and hairy. I don't know if I absolutely love the hairy look, but okay. I love the color though. It's a very like darkish pink and purple. Wow. And I've gone so far that I've knitted the back piece, the 2 front shoulders, and I have joined under the arms, just joined under the arms. And from now on, basically it's just knitting straight down for like 80 centimeters, and that's just whew. So I have to do some kind of row counter, and I need to do some kind of a, I don't know, eat a cookie every so and so the centimeter or whatever row to keep it interesting. And then you have to pick up also the sleeves. I was thinking maybe because the sleeve actually have quite a nice finish on it already. So actually what I could do is basically make it a sleeveless cardigan for the summer. I mean, that's possible. Because you also knit the double knit neckband at the same time. So basically when you're done, which is nice because it's a very, very long cardigan. It's a very, yeah. For me, I'm quite short, so maybe I don't have to knit as long as the pattern says, but we'll see. Right now, it's just really, it's stockinette, but then this honeycomb pattern every so and so row, and that's quite annoying, to be fair, to those over what's it called? No, that's not what I mean. So yeah, that's also a long-term knit from me. No pressure, I think. I don't have a deadline for this one. I'll just go for it whenever I have some moments over. The row stitch is quite long now as well, so it takes a while. On this one, I don't mirror knit. I do purl because I feel like the fluff makes the stitch gauge sort of blend in better. So yeah, that's the Cocoon cardigan. Let's see. Then another Kutova Kika Veronica Lindberg pattern. This is from her second book, Everyday Knits. I have to look up what the book is called, actually. If I figure out how to get pictures into the screen, I'll put a picture in here. I don't know if that worked or not, but okay, let's see. It's one of her sweaters called My Favorite Story. I never remember that name. My Favorite Story. And here you go. It's very cable-y. It's a full-on cable sweater. Cables front, cables back, cables side. Can you see that? Yeah, I hope the lighting is good enough. It may be a little bit shadowy, but yeah. I'm knitting it actually, now I realize the knitting it is actually in the same exact yarn as this one, but just in a smaller needle size. This was quite a big needle size, and this was very like loose and flowy, and this is more of a tighter knit, or I guess maybe it's the cables that makes it a little bit tighter, but anyway, very soft, super soft yarn. I'm very happy about it. I have joined in the underarm here as well, and I'm now working on the body. I actually took it on try on tubing yesterday and tried it on. And it's interesting because until you join in the underarm, the pattern, I guess I'm not giving away too much things, but the pattern, that all the sizes is the same pattern until your underarm, and then I guess you continue to increase or not. So, and I was afraid I wasn't a little bit small. It looked a little bit small. So I put it on try on tubing, and I tried it on, and it's okay. I also think blocking will do a lot for the cables to loosen up a little bit. But I do think that I will increase a little bit under the underarm. It's quite easy to just add some stitches into the underarm pattern that goes under the, on the side. So I think I will do that, just to get a little bit room, because it was a little bit tight and I just don't want to have it tighter. This one, this yarn actually grew not a lot, but it did bloom and loosen up a little bit. So I think it's fine. I picked one size down where I should. I picked the second size. So I think I will add a couple of stitches actually. The pattern also comes with a lot of bubbles. Like every single gap here has bubbles, and I'm not a bubble girl. Is that bad to say? So I skipped the bubbles. Yeah, and I think it looks quite neat, and I think it looks, I mean, there's enough going on, then so it's fine. I highly believe that there's no, like, you don't have to follow a design 100%. The reason why you knit yourself and make your own garments is to fit your own body size, style, preferences. So why not? Why not play a little bit? I don't think the designers mind that they see different variations of their pattern. I wouldn't, definitely. I'm not a designer, but if I would be, I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, I enjoy it. This is really my knit when I have some more brain power, and when I have the option to sit down and look at a chart, because that's what you have to do. So it's definitely not when the kids are around. You do have to follow the chart like religiously, which is fine and which is fun, because the others, I think you can go on autopilot quite a lot, and definitely the cocoon gardening is like thoroughly autopilot by now, because it's just straight down. So this is it's a little bit more challenging. So I'm gonna put it back on the needle and continue, because the try on did what I hoped, and it gave me a little bit more confidence and knowledge that I'm on the right path and it will fit me. So that's nice. It was a very, very big collar with it, but I enjoyed that. It's high, but it's loose, so it's not like on my neck. I think it's gonna be good. And it's a twisted 1x1 rib, and I really enjoy that. It looks really neat, I think. If you look there, it looks really neat. I am a, let me see, continental knitter, so I have my yarn in my left hand, and that's, I think it's easier to do twisted rib, I would think. So that's my favorite story. And then two more things, I think, otherwise I'll have to do that. Yeah, if I forget something, I have to talk about that next time. No, you know what? Let me take this one last. This was a pure, what are they called? Not endorphin cast-ons, but like anyway, I wanted to cast something new on. I was a little bit bored by everything I had on my needles. So I wanted to cast something on. And this December, I bought a advent calendar from Wol Atelier, I think it's called, here in Holland. And it was a 10-gram mini skein calendar. So not a 20, that's usually is the case, I think. But it was a 10-gram mini skein, hand-dyed, fingering weight yarn. 24 days and some other goodies and minis, and I like that. It was my first like real advent calendar, but yarn. And I started a shawl with it in December and I didn't like it. The pattern really didn't do the yarn justice, so I frogged that. And I was thinking, what should I do now? And I saw, is it? Well, another pattern that also have an advent, like a sweater out of advent yarn, where they used 2 skeins and did one-on-one, like one stitch through the whole sweater, with a little bit of fade, I guess. And that's really was my inspiration. I really wanted that, but that specific, I need to look up what the pattern was called. But it was a crew neckline, I think it's called. And it was a raglan. And I didn't like to do a raglan at that moment. So I just really looked online for, looked on Ravelry for a free pattern if I had the option to do so. It's not that I don't, I like to pay for my patterns, and I think the design is worth it and deserve the money for the hard work they do. But for this, I really knew that I just wanted to have a simple design, or like simple pattern to have as a base, and then I would knit this sweater with it. So I found, let me see it's a pattern called Riverside by Asita Krebs, and it was quite a nice neckline. Again, I'll try to pull in a photo. And it was this, I think it's called saddle shoulder. Is it saddle shoulder? And that was a little bit interesting. I knew that I didn't want to have a off shoulder sweater, because then the colors wouldn't really work for that. So let me see. Okay. So I cast on, and I really haven't gone that. I haven't done so much for it, but it's this 1 stitch in white, 1 stitch in this faded ombre, I don't know. It starts with pink. I thought that was gonna be nice here, and then it goes into green, and then it goes in all different crazy colors after that, depending on the one I chose. I like it. It's enjoyable. It's some color work, which I don't have on my needle at the moment, so that's nice. And then we'll see if how it looks like when I start having actually a proper something else to show. So we'll see next time how far I've come on this one. All right, so last but not least, it's my stash down project. I tend to look over my stash every December or so, every New Year, and that's also what I did this year. I think I will keep that stash down thing for next time, because it's been quite long, this video so far, but I'm gonna show you my stash down project. And it's the jigsaw blanket by Stephen West, and here we go. And these are really all the big bits and bobs I have in my cupboard, and it's very nice to do a stash down blanket. I thought I didn't want to do one, but it's kind of nice to use the yarn again and to show sort of like, oh, this is my husband's socks, and this was a cardigan I made, and so on. And you get rid of all these small balls of yarn. So it's nice. That's the jigsaw blanket. Now, what now? How do we go forward from here? Well, I'm gonna try to film maybe twice a month to start with. I don't want to go nuts and say every week, because I know that I don't really have time for that. I have quite a bit busy life. But twice a month maybe. You'll see my progress. We'll talk about things I did differently on patterns. I definitely will talk a little bit about my knitting style and technique when it comes to color work and when it comes to normal knitting. What I will cast on next, well, I will hopefully finish the Midland cardigan soon. I hope I'm gonna go to a knit night maybe next week, and then buy some yarn then, and then finish up the Midland cardigan. And when I finish up that one, I think I will cast on something with the kids. I'm thinking of the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit, but the junior version. I think the Salty Days, you either knit the Salty Day or the Ingrid sweater, basically. And I knew that I didn't want to have two of these. They're quite similar, I would say, if that's allowed to say. But I think it was perfect to make one, or either actually two, I think, one for each child. And that goes quite fast as well. And I have the yarn for it, so I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do maybe a sock before the season is over. And then I'm gonna start thinking about my spring knitting. So I'm definitely gonna do like a tank top and a t-shirt in the early spring to have when the summer hits. I'm gonna start thinking about that as well, and what yarn, boy, should I use for that? If you have any suggestions, let me know. If you have any patterns for t-shirts, let me know. And then we're gonna have to see what, I don't know if like these pattern videos is something for me, because it's a lot of editing, I think, for that, but okay, we'll see how it goes. Right. That was almost about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, Jesus, of me talking. Well, if you stuck around this long, thank you. Thank you for sticking around to listen to me. I'm new to this, as I said, so if you wanna subscribe to my channel, please do so. If you wanna put a like up, thumbs up, I feel like a teenager, but okay, please do so. Comment, is the lighting okay? Is the sound okay? I don't know. We'll see. Comment about what you guys are knitting at the moment, and if you're from Europe or where you're from, I would love to know. So, all right, well, see you next time. I'm not gonna say when that is. Maybe in 2 weeks, maybe in 3 weeks. Let's see how long it takes to edit this video. And yeah, have fun knitting and enjoy. And I'll see you next time. Bye.